You look up at the night sky and wonder if anyone is out there. You scan the stars for a signal, a light, a signature of life beyond your own. But what if you've been asking the wrong question? What if the search for aliens isn't about looking up? What if it's about looking down? Because the strangest, most alien species on this planet might already be staring back at you in the mirror. You don't feel alien. You feel ordinary. You wake up, you eat, you sleep, you scroll. Nothing about that feels extraterrestrial. But step back far enough and your entire existence stops looking ordinary at all. It starts looking impossible. Every other animal on Earth fits its environment like a key fits a lock. A polar bear is built for ice. A camel is built for dessert. A fish is built for water. You are built for nothing and everything. You have no fur thick enough for winter. No claws sharp enough for defense. No venom, no shell, no wings. By every physical measure, you should have died out tens of thousands of years ago. And yet here you are, sitting in a climate-controlled room, reading words on a glowing rectangle, completely unaware of how strange that actually is. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard has spent decades studying what actually separates humans from every other primate. His answer isn't tools. It isn't language. It's fire. The control of fire rewired human digestion, shrank the gut, and freed up enormous amounts of energy that got redirected somewhere else. Where did that energy go? Into the brain. Your brain burns roughly 20% of your body's total energy, despite being only 2% of your body weight. No other species on this planet spends that kind of metabolic fortune on thinking. It's an absurd investment, unless thinking was the entire point. Here's where it gets strange. Evolution doesn't usually overshoot. It builds exactly what a creature needs to survive and nothing more. A cheetah doesn't run faster than it needs to catch its prey. A spider doesn't spin a web more complex than it needs to catch a fly. But your brain didn't stop at enough. It kept going. Past hunting, past surviving, past anything early humans actually needed on the savannah. You didn't need calculus to outrun a leopard. You didn't need music theory to find water. You didn't need the ability to write science fiction, build cathedrals, or compose symphonies in order to survive an ice age. And yet you can do all of those things. That's not a small mismatch. That's a massive, almost suspicious surplus. Some researchers have noticed this gap and tried to explain it. Geneticist Svante Pääbo, who won the Nobel Prize for sequencing the Neanderthal genome, found something unsettling when he compared ancient human DNA to modern human DNA. The genetic differences between you and your nearest extinct relatives are surprisingly small. A handful of mutations, a few tweaks in genes related to brain development, and yet the outcome wasn't a slightly smarter ape. It was a species that could build rockets and leave the planet entirely. Small input, massive disproportionate output. That's not how evolution typically works. That's how a switch works. Think about what your brain can actually do that no other survival pressure explains. You can imagine futures that don't exist yet. You can hold abstract concepts like justice, infinity, and zero. You can recognize your own death is coming and build entire religions, philosophies, and rituals around that single fact. No predator forced you to invent the number zero. No famine required you to compose a requiem. These aren't survival tools. There's something else entirely. This is where the question shifts. What if the human brain isn't a product that was slowly sculpted by gradual pressure, the way a river carves a canyon over millions of years? What if it's closer to a piece of borrowed technology, something that arrived faster, stranger, and more complete than gradual evolution usually allows? Paleoanthropologists call the period around 50,000 years ago the Great Leap Forward. Before it, humans were technologically stagnant for hundreds of thousands of years. Simple stone tools, simple shelters. Then, in what is an evolutionary blink of an eye, art appears. Symbolic burial appears. Complex tools, trade networks, and language explosion appear almost all at once. Archaeologist Ian Tattersall at the American Museum of Natural History has described this moment as one of the most abrupt transitions in the entire fossil record. What flipped that switch? Nobody fully knows. And in that gap, in that uncomfortable silence where the data runs out, the question becomes almost irresistible. What if you are the result of an experiment? What if your strangeness, your overqualified brain, your unexplainable hunger to look up at the stars and wonder if anyone else is out there, is actually evidence pointing the other direction? Look at how you behave compared to every other species sharing this rock with you. You terraform landscapes. You launch machines beyond your own atmosphere. You alter your own DNA in laboratories. You build structures visible from space. If a truly foreign species landed on Earth tomorrow and studied the planet's most disruptive, most technologically advanced, most environment-altering organism, they wouldn't be looking for little green men. They'd be looking at you. This is the quiet, uncomfortable irony hiding inside humanity's obsession with extraterrestrial life. You search the cosmos for a being that reshapes its environment, communicates through complex symbolic systems, and builds technology that defies the natural limits of its biology. That description already exists. It's just been pointed at the wrong target the entire time. Consider this. Every defining trait people associate with alien, intelligence in movies and stories, the unnatural brain power, the rapid technological acceleration, the species that doesn't seem to belong to its own ecosystem, that drastically reshapes its planet within a geological eye blink already happened. It happened with you. It happened on this planet, in your lifetime, in your grandparents' lifetime. Humanity went from horse-drawn carts to walking on the moon in less than a single human lifespan. No other species in 4 billion years of life on Earth has ever done anything close to that. Biologist E.O. Wilson once pointed out a deeply uncomfortable truth. Humans have what he called a Paleolithic emotional brain wired into a space-age civilization. Your instincts are tens of thousands of years old. Your technology is decades old. That mismatch is so extreme that, evolutionarily speaking, it shouldn't be possible. It's like finding a smartphone buried inside a Stone Age cave. Except the smartphone is your own skull. So here's the reframe. Maybe the reason no alien signal has ever reached you isn't because life is rare. Maybe it's because the search has been aimed outward, when the most anomalous, fastest evolving, most disruptive intelligence in the known universe has been broadcasting from right here the entire time. Maybe humanity isn't waiting to make first contact. Maybe humanity already is the contact, and nobody noticed because it happened from the inside. This doesn't mean a spaceship dropped you off, or that ancient astronauts handed your ancestors fire. It means something quieter and arguably stranger. It means that the line separating natural creature shaped slowly by its environment and anomalous intelligence that doesn't fit its environment at all might be a lot blurrier than it feels. You are simultaneously a product of this Earth and a profound mismatch with it. Both things are true. That tension, that itch, is probably why you look up in the first place. Why telescopes get built. Why entire careers get spent scanning radio frequencies for the faintest whisper of another mind out there. Part of you suspects you don't quite belong here in the way the other species do. And maybe that suspicion isn't science fiction. Maybe it's the most accurate thing your gut has ever told you. Tonight, when you look up at the stars again, searching for some sign of another mind looking back, remember this. The universe's strangest, most disruptive, most inexplicably overqualified species isn't somewhere out there waiting to be found. It's already here, wondering, wide-eyed, staring up at a sky that may have been looking back at itself all along.